Love is a way of building to a crescendo. Ride if you will, ride it with me.
Good morning, everybody. How are you doing? I thought about it for a split second after I got the good morning out. I need to do what my old buddy Mark Buckingham used to say when he had his segment on a morning show. I think Dino and Stacy, and then Dino, Stacy, and Sean, and then Dino and Sean, and then I don't think he was back on when Stacy came back. I don't think he was. I think he actually moved on to his new job that he loves. But anyway, he used to say, "Good morning, anybody." So maybe from now on, I'll adopt that starting next week. Right now, though, I'm going to put 17 ounces of this, I would say wonderful, but I'll say good. This good pre-ground, medium roasted Italian coffee. I don't know why I said it like that. I did. About 17 grams of it. This is not going to come out any easier or better. It's just going to come out, I guess. Come on now. Maybe we'll do about 18 if I can. Yeah, it seems good. Yeah, that's good. Shake that up a little bit. 18 grams and some change. Mokaflora. Designed for all of the languages. Well, not all of the languages. So, wherever this is shipped to, it's designed for that language. So, Mokaflora, product of Italy. It is very finely ground, as you can see, almost powder, but not quite espresso. And I've got the Prismo attachment before I put the coffee in, but the Prismo attachment is here. I want to try to get a little bit of crema. I think that this ground size might accomplish that. I don't know though. We don't need that anymore because I'm going to fill this all the way up to the top. We'll time everything. That's getting heated up. I've got my clear glass, which I will fill with hot water so that we don't fog up like I did the last time. I was a little aggravated at myself for not remembering to warm up the glass so that everything didn't fog up. I've got to clean the bed off. Mom and Dad will be here on Wednesday. They're going to stay the night, and then we're going to leave on Thursday. We're going to go to Florida. The three of us are going to go down, and Granddad's not coming home. And I don't know if I just blocked it out or if it just didn't register that was even a possibility. I thought we were going down there and getting him out and getting him home, getting him situated, and then finding somebody to help him. But I was not told that Granddad was not going home. He will be reevaluated on the 16th, and that is after the 20 days are up. He can have an extension for another 100 days in the rehab facility. So after 100 days, we're probably going to have to go back down and figure something out. I don't know. I don't really know much anything, I guess. I was kind of hoping I knew something, but apparently I don't. Par for the course, I guess. But we're sitting at Granddad's not coming home. I kind of watched it with a few other people that had gotten older and passed away. People started talking around them rather than with them. You know, they weren't part of the conversation. Decisions were already made, but they were completely and totally aware of sound mind. Grandma was not. She had about 3 years of not knowing a lot, not knowing anything, not the appearance of not knowing anything. The biggest mysteries of the human body are what go on in the brain when someone has gotten to the point of near catatonic state. You know, I think. I mean, you can measure what's going on in the brain, but you don't really. We can't see where they put themselves. The brain is the CEO of the body. Okay? The brain thinks it can function by getting rid of organs. The brain it goes into self-preservation mode, and it lays off parts, starting with whatever it wants, really. I mean, your heart can go bad, your lungs, your pancreas, your liver, you lose your eyesight, you lose your hearing, you can't taste anymore, you can't smell anymore. There's just a bunch of different things that, once the brain gets into self-preservation mode, organs start failing, and the brain is unless there's a traumatic injury to the brain. I mean, it's like the brain is the last functioning organ, and it's in its closet all by itself. And it's like, why am I still diminishing, So yeah, the brain is like the CEO. It thinks that it can function without the rest of the body. So when things start going wrong, it starts bottling itself up. And with Grandma, she was having many strokes. So, it was kind of, there was a lot of different functions that were going away because of the strokes. She couldn't walk, she couldn't speak, and she just went into a state. But I hated the thought that we would talk around her. We wouldn't talk with her. We would, everything was between, Granddad and Mom and Aunt Tyra, and that was kind of it. She wasn't included in the conversation, which I don't know if it would have helped. Maybe keeping her part of what's going on, asking her questions may have helped. I don't think they ever did. I mean, they were planning everything for her. They weren't planning everything with her or including her, and it just, and that's probably just a grandson watching a loved one fade away, being like, just keep her involved, please. Just keep her in the loop, keep her within what's going on, so that, we can have a little bit of hope, but, and I just feel like that it's going to start going that. Granddad is fully aware. He's fully cognizant. He's been upset, and rightly so, because, and it's just thrown off of his routine. It's not an extreme routine, but it's like, if you throw anybody off of their routine for a long enough time, they're gonna be like, what the hell am I supposed to do now? So, and he's kind of in that mode, and they keep talking like, he still has everything going for him. So he's still, able to say yes or no. No, I don't want that. Yes, I want that. I think they're hoping that he'll agree to stuff. I mean, he's in a situation, and he's been in a situation for a while where he's been losing his leg functions. And now that he sat in a hospital sick for that long, it's, he's lost all, and I'm sure he's trying every day. Mom said that he got into his wheelchair and pushed himself up and down the hall of the rehab center on this past Sunday. And then his chest muscles were in such pain, he couldn't get into the bed. So I think he's trying to find ways of being able to live by himself normally. And I don't think that that's just something that's going to happen anymore. And, there it is again, the grandson being like the most unrealistic of everyone, saying, keep him in the conversation. I just watched what they did with Grandma, and, I realized that she could not respond. She could not answer. She could not, nod her head or shake her head, but, it's like, just keep her in the conversation, at least. Don't talk around her. And that really frustrated me. It really made me angry. When I watch people do that, regardless of where the person is at, physically, mentally. They need to be part of the conversation because they're still there. And I personally think that they're still there. Maybe they're in a fantasy world, but they're still there. I probably would make a terrible doctor or nurse. I care too much. It's definitely the reason I'm not a veterinarian. A couple of times I thought about trying to apply to work at a vet office as like a front desk person, but I can't do that. I can't do that. I have a hard enough time bringing my own cats into the vet. I can't imagine last leg patients, I can't do it. So I guess I'm just too soft. Too soft for everything. Let's see if we can get some crema out of this, though. I'm pretty excited about that. I'll get this up here and going. It shouldn't fog over as much this time. No crema, but then again, this might not be ground for that. Maybe it has to be an espresso bean in order to do that in this. I will tell you though, that finer powder was much harder, much harder to get through. I'll let that cool down just a little bit because it's pretty hot. And a hell of a lot harder to get through than regular beans, and we may stick to the regular beans from now on. I'm a little disappointed there wasn't any crema or any kind of foam of any kind. Not crema, I mean crema, whatever, but foam. But like I said, this must not be espresso coffee. It's probably a medium roast, but I don't know. I think nothing on here says the darkness of the roast. It just says that it's artisanally crafted, slow and single origin roasting, 48-hour degassing, recyclable packaging, and then it goes on to tell you about the good creaminess. I mean, there's really nothing on here that says, hey, it's a medium. Hey, it's a dark. I mean, I guess it's French or Italian. It's French. Ooh, I just pissed off a bunch of people. And Italian, does that mean that it's dark? I mean, I know French roasts mean darker roasts. I don't know if Italian roasts done darker or not. I don't know. But here it is, the Mokaflora. Smells like coffee. Tastes like hot coffee. I mean, it is an excellent aroma. It says that there's a sourness, which would tell me that there was, well, it says sourness, good, body, excellent. Body's usually like what, medium roasts, you get more of a body, but at a light roast, you get more sourness. Descriptors become buzzwords, and it just drives me up the wall. Anyway, this is fine. It's good. It's good coffee. I might add some milk to it actually to cool it down. And it's like I said, it's not, to me, it's not the best tasting coffee. So putting a little milk in it can't hurt. So we'll just do that. I'm, like I said, a little disappointed I get in a foam, but then again, and I was pushing, fairly hard. I had to. Getting through this very flat bed of coffee was crazy. I mean, it was, this stuff is very, very finely ground, and passing it through that and the metal grate, which, by the way, the metal grate is, I wouldn't say it's great. I would say it's fine. The biggest issue is that at the end of my cup of coffee on Thursday, there was there was some very, very finely ground particulates in the bottom of it, which I'd never gotten with a paper filter. And I kind of expected that because, you know, the paper filter seems to be able to hold back fines a lot easier than anything metal I have ever bought. I once had, what was it? I once had a cloth filter for the Chemex, and it was, it worked, but I did get more particulates coming through the cloth filter. It worked fairly well. I actually found that to be nice because it was reusable. I think I used it for a year. And if you go back and watch the old ones, you may actually see me using it. But that cloth one was not bad. It worked really well. But yeah, like I said, there were still particulates that kind of got through it. And with this mesh sieve, it's the same. Particulates still get through it and into the mug, which is not bad. I mean, by the time you're getting down to the bottom, it doesn't matter that much. And if you add milk to it, it kind of suspends the fines a little bit better, so you really don't even see them at the bottom, which is kind of nice. So, yeah, we'll leave that separate and we'll dry it out. All right. That might have cooled it down just enough. Yeah, as it cools down, it gets better. Some people don't have time to wait for a coffee to cool down to drink it, which is wild when I watch people grab Starbucks coffees and just start pounding them. It's like, that shit's hot, man. I've had Starbucks, it's hot. You know, Dunkin' doesn't seem nearly as hot. Starbucks has got this thing, man, where it's just super hot. And I think when I had a Dunkin' coffee, it was never that hot as its Starbucks coffee is. I've never had a hot Tim Hortons coffee. I've always ever had their sugar coffee, whipped cream and chocolate sauce and caramel sauce and all that. I don't think I've ever had a plain Tim Hortons coffee. I have had a plain Dunkin's coffee, and Dunkin's coffee tastes a lot better than Starbucks coffee, even though Dunkin' coffee isn't. It's not even as good as the Mokaflora through an AeroPress, but it's not terrible coffee. But then again, you know, I also get my Dunkin' when I had them with sugar in it. And it's the same with, I don't think you can have Starbucks coffee without sugar in it because it's just tastes like burnt. It tastes like burnt. They are the burntest burnt of ever burnt coffee. Starbucks is. I mean, if you like Starbucks, cool. I got really turned off by them for a lot of different reasons, both personal and worldly reasons. So it's like, I don't have to go back there. I can make my own coffee. I can buy my own syrups. If I want to start doing sugary coffee, I can buy my own syrups. I can just add milk. I can add some chocolate to it. You know, I can do my own stuff. I could add peppermint to it. I can buy peppermint infused coffee and have it brought home, and it would cost less per cup than a Starbucks coffee does with all of its sugar in it. If you're talking pure coffee. So, you know, so it's nicer to do at home. Kind of bounced around a lot today. I've got a lot on my mind. It's been a pretty crazy weekend, discovery-wise. The thought that Granddad's not going to go home is really sad to me. I hope that he understands the reason why. If he can't walk, he can't do anything at home. He lives in a double-wide trailer. The first thing we're going to have to do if he wants to go back home is make it accessible. And the amount of stuff he's going to have to hire out to do, you know, someone's going to have to come clean the house. Someone's going to have to come and make him something to eat. Someone's going to have to help him get the bathroom, everything in the bathroom. Mom said she has a plan, but I see how big my eyes get every time I hear Mom has some kind of a plan. We'll see. We'll see. I just want him to be okay. I mean, I want him to be where he wants to be when everything stops. You know? Being alone, being in some hospital bed, being cognizant of what's going on around you is the worst thing in the world when everything stops, I think, you know? Personally, on a personal level, you know, it's just, It's hard. And, you know, but what's really interesting though, is that I don't, at least at this point in my life, I don't see myself thinking the same way. Maybe I'll be in so much pain. Maybe I'll not be able to do this or do that. I mean, it's why I want to do shit now, you know, while I can. It's why a job is not a career. It's a means to go to Japan, which we might be doing. That might be a thing that's happening. We might be going to Japan. I don't know if it'll be this year or next, but we might be going to Japan. I'm pretty sure he wants to go to Colombia, but that's generally like a 4 or 5 day thing. The Japan thing might be like 12 days. That's something that we both really want to do. We've been watching stuff on YouTube from Japan YouTubers who go around, and it's like, God, Akihabara would be so cool to go look at. I only get to see the anime stuff that's in those toy stores. You know, is there any Star Trek stuff? Would that be cool? Or is there any, sometimes I see Marvel stuff out of the corner of my eye and I'm like, okay, well, that might be neat. But is there any Star Trek stuff? Because there's stuff that the Japanese market gets with regards to Star Trek that we don't. I have like 2 or 3 pieces down in my collection downstairs that was only for the Japanese market, that came with Japanese DVDs back in the day. I don't know, like 90s, 2000s, mid 2000s. So, I mean, there's some things that only they get. So it's like, do they have that kind of stuff there? But I've never really seen anybody do here's Star Trek in Japan kind of thing. And I'm not capable of it. If we were to go, I would want, if that seems like a third visit, if we were to go a third time, that seems like a third visit thing would be like planning out the routes. Cause I want to see Tokyo. I'd love to go up and see, the northern prefecture where all of the apples and garlic are. The south, I would love to see, Okinawa. There are just so many different places. I want to see temples. I want to see those giant Buddha statues, those looming things that clouds could fly over the head of, and you wouldn't be able to see the head. Those giant statues, those giant Buddha statues, the giant shrines, fantastic and fascinating. I want to see that. So, I mean, if we go, it'd be kind of nice if I were to take I would take pictures and maybe some video, but there wouldn't be anything directly done there, I don't think. I think that would be difficult logistically. I guess we never know. Hopefully we will find out. That might be a thing that's happening. If the rest of the world doesn't ban Americans from going to their country. Anyway, we will talk to you tomorrow. I guess we've kind of gone through the wonderfulness that is this fellow. I mean, if you have a AeroPress and have a little bit extra money to spend, I would recommend it. I mean, it's nice. You don't have to, the coffee actually brews in the device rather than it being a hassle to get the flow to stop so that it can brew. It's more of a brewing thing now than it is a pass-through with benefits, So I don't mind it. I would think that the paper filters would fit just fine in here as well and would do just as much work. But the fellow comes with this mesh, which should last a year or two. They do have replacement meshes, so it should last a year or two. And this will last quite a while. All it's doing is holding back. I mean, I don't know what the tension strength of this aperture is on the rubber gasket, but it'll last for a little bit. I mean, it's just like this. I mean, how long is this has lasted for years. This is still rubbery. This is still on there tight. Nothing has cracked. Nothing has bunched up. Nothing has discolored. So, I'd say that AeroPress is an excellent buy if you want that kind of coffee.